Welcome to FEHS Legacy Voices, the podcast where we celebrate the people who have shaped the history and spirit of Fuquay-Varina High School. Today, we're joined by Sherrill Stanley, who served at FEHS from 1988 to 2011. Through her role of leadership, Sherrill has left a lasting impact on our Bengal community and beyond. We're excited to hear her reflections, favorite memories from campus, and the way her work continues to inspire generations of learners. So, hi, Sherrill. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Wonderful. We would like to know how you came to join the Fuquay-Varina High School community.
My husband and I came to North Carolina from a 5-year tour in Sao Paulo, Brazil,
Wow.
where we were teachers and had other responsibilities at an American Chamber of Commerce school there. When we came to Wake County, we had principal certifications, but of course you have to work your way up. And I started off actually as a long-term sub. Then I was a support teacher at Wake Forest Roseville High.
Oh, wow.
And in the meantime, the system had just developed a leadership program for potential APs.
Yeah.
I was in the first group of that, finished that, and began applying for assistant principalships. And Dr. Joel Moody read my resume. It was given to him by Charles Rose,
Oh, wow.
who later became the principal here at the high school. So I joined under Dr. Moody and soon had Mr. Rose.
Was there a defining moment when you knew teaching or education or leading was your calling?
Yes. Not particularly a moment, but it has grown through my life.
Mm-hmm.
I know my epitaph.
Mm-hmm. What is it?
And gladly she would teach and gladly learn from Charles Canterbury Tales. I like that because I like being on either side of the desk, so to speak.
Yeah.
I like to share knowledge and everything. And since my retirement, I've become very active in OLLI, Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. There's some on the campus of NC State University, and I've taken on leadership roles there. I've been volunteer of the year, and I will begin this year as the chair of the advisory committee.
That's amazing.
But it's all non-credit courses that you just pick out because you want to learn.
I can tell that learning meant a lot to you at Fuquay, and it's obviously embedded in the fabric of who you are. So while you were at FEHS, what are some of your proudest moments during your time?
I enjoyed involving the departments for their input in the master schedule.
Oh,
That was my major responsibility, and this was back during some of the DOS software, although that wasn't what was used
no.
much in the business world at the time, but still in schools. But anyway, I would solicit from the department chairs, who of course
Right.
got information from those within the department and were a spokesperson for them, but I would solicit from them their needs and wants and special things, and then put all that together on that magnetic board. Some will remember.
I've seen those
For a master schedule for this school. And the more it grew, the more it grew.
Yeah.
And then finally, I guess when Mr. McFarland came along,
Yes.
and John Enns was an assistant principal then, we kind of broke that up and more people had responsibilities. But it was a major task.
So
And I was proud because the department heads would come back and tell me, when I go to meetings, they don't do that at other schools. We're so glad you do. And I thought,
basically,
how else would you do it?
well, you took the input of the teachers, and I think that's one of the things that makes our school a little bit more unique. I feel like teachers feel the community as much as our students.
And, this involved teaching assignments as well as room and everything else.
Absolutely.
But, those department heads knew their people.
What they're best
I
at.
knew what was best.
Is there a program or a tradition or initiative you helped shape that still carries on today?
There's one I probably helped shape but did not initiate. And our teacher, Becky Subat from the science department, was the one who I would say was the leader for that. This was back during the time of something called Senate Bill 2, which said that in schools you had to have some input and leadership from your faculty. So we had committees and so forth. And one of them, and the one that Becky was in, they came up with the idea of our school going to block scheduling. Now, it wasn't a new idea to the district because Cary High School was the first one to research this
Right.
under Donna Hargens,
Yeah.
but the faculty rejected it by vote. So we built upon
Yeah.
some of their research. We visited other schools in the state that were much smaller that
Yeah.
had block scheduling, and we decided as a faculty to go for that. Now, of course, none of the software was for scheduling.
No.
So either block scheduling, nor were teachers prepared for how to use that an hour and a half of time. But we made it through. In fact,
Yeah.
Gerald Pickett, when he was principal, and I presented to other principals in the district
Oh,
on
wow.
block scheduling. And eventually, of course, most high schools went with the 4x4 block schedule
It's the
in Lake
standard.
County.
Yeah.
I think I had a part of that, but my hat's always been off to Becky.
I think that's super important. So, how did you see students grow and change during your years here?
Coming from a teaching background, I miss the interaction
Mm,
that teachers have, the relationships and
yeah.
things like that. Fortunately for me, most of the time we had an advisory or homeroom system.
Right.
The one I remember the best was that we had the same group of students for 4
I've
years.
heard this.
And I chose, well, somehow it worked out that I had ninth grade through their 12th grade year, and that was the year that I retired. But I was able to read them this tearful little challenge at the beginning of their senior year, and I hope they kept us some of that. But I love that. Also, I worked with the current German teacher,
Yeah.
Beerleben,
Yes.
Beerleben, uh, who was a sponsor for Academic Decathlon. That has since collapsed, but it was a nationwide
Yeah.
competition. People think of spelling bees, but in this one, you got a theme and curriculum and
Right.
materials.
Right.
Students studied that before the competition, and then they had written tests and other type of things on that. So I was able to attend those meetings
Oh, wow.
and go with them to the competition. We never advanced above the level of the county, but still, it was a lot of fun, and I got to know those students a little bit better, and they were all so super sharp and with such a future ahead of them. That was good. And then I've loved watching some of the students who've returned to Fuquay-Varina High School as teachers.
Yes.
And I know you have a long list of those, Mike Bowden, Paige Elliott, James Mountford, Karis McCotter. There were others too.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, as far as our connections and say legacy, how did Fuquay-Varina High School shape you as an educator or as a leader?
Well, really more as an educator. I found out, well, one of the duties of administrators always is to observe and evaluate teachers. And I learned more observing teachers about how to teach than I ever did as a teacher. And I tried very hard to persuade teachers to watch one another, but we're we're kind of a different kind of animal. There's a lot of resistance to that, but I know those that work their way up through administration or supervision have probably that same story that I have about so many good teachers here at Fuquay-Varina High School, and so much I learned from watching them practice their craft.
Oh, I love that. I would agree with you on that 100%. How has your educational journey extended, say, beyond FVHS? I know you mentioned a little bit, but
Well, really, my only answer there is about Ollie, online learning.
so I've got to enter the reflection and advice part. And this one's a fun question for you. And hopefully, you can give us an answer that speaks to your heart. If you could describe FBHS in one word, what would it be and why?
My one word would be family. There is an atmosphere of support and caring at this school. It had it. I think it continues to have it. Here is a sobering example and recollection. There, at a time, we had student funerals in our gymnasium. the metal doors were adjusted so the casket could roll in. I know that it was because to those students, school was a center of life,
Oh, wow.
and the families felt that.
Mm.
But there were other things that happened too.
Yeah.
Other people have probably told you about how we were the smallest little school in high school, at least, in Wake County, or among the smallest.
Mhm.
And our community was small too, so there was
Mhm.
lots of jokes and things about that. It was difficult for us not to feel second place sometimes,
Mhm.
but our town and our school just ignored those things, and we went right on and did the best we could and took pride in what a
Mm.
smaller place could mean to the families and the students.
Mhm.
We still have some advantages that others couldn't.
Mhm.
We could have our homecoming parade downtown,
Mhm.
and we were small enough to have our graduations at that time in the beautiful Memorial Auditorium
Uh,
instead of in a football stadium
True.
or in an arena with folding chairs
True.
and
True.
so forth. So there were some advantages. And by the way, not many may know, but Fuquay-Varina High School was recognized as a school of distinction. This is by the National Association of Secondary School Principals
Oh my goodness.
in something called the Breaking Ranks publication. I think we were in number 2. We were mentioned in the national booklet and all of
Mhm.
that for our leadership in high school reform.
Unbelievable.
So hats off to us, and
Mm.
we were able to snub the other schools for a while.
We always love that Fuquay advantage for old Bengals. But one thing I will say is that, Cheryl, you are an example of family, and we feel lucky to have your voice today. So thank you for sharing your story with us. And thanks to our listeners, our Bengal family, for tuning in to FEHS Legacy Voices. Stay tuned for more alumni stories.